The oceans are in grave danger, but we can do something about it. I am Gabriel Perez, an student, and I really want to help the oceans. The wave of plastic pollution is finally coming to get us. So, a few years ago, when I was younger, my parents always told me how beautiful the ocean was, how precious, how unique, how marvelous. And when I got there, I finally get to dive. I found out that it was really all the things that promised me, and I fell in love with it. I really did. But I found out it had its problems, and its biggest problem is plastic pollution. So one day I was diving with my parents, and I found there was a crab that made its home in a plastic bottle. So I said that crab is going to get hurt, but I cannot help him because that is his home and he has established there. So I decided to continue, but with that picture on my head. At the end of the dive, and we had a bags full of plastic. So I decided that I wanted to help the oceans. So when the time came, in the personal project, I decided I wanted to help the oceans and do my part to help them. So I really did it in a particular way. So let's start with the problem. So the problem starts in the food web. So the most affected animals in the food web by this problematic are the higher in the food web. So in this case, it is the shark. The shark is the most affected by these chemicals as it is the biggest consumer and the one that consumes the most. So let's change the shark for us. We are the highest consumer in our food web, and we eat a lot of marine animals. And we have a longer lifespan than most sharks, so we are greatly affected by it. So the impacts the plastic has on the world and environment, this one is the one that I consider to be really important because with this amount of money, it is the salary of 45 million teachers in 1 year. So this is the salary of a whole country and a really good one. Then there are the impacts on the environment. These impacts are, well, kind of sad because it's not their fault and we are the ones that are causing this problem. So these problems are the stranglement, they trapped by it. Some are choked to death by it. Some others are severely injured by it. And the one that is most visible is the ingestment of these ones. So, for example, turtles eat this plastic and mistake it for food. So they are really hurt by it. Then there are the impacts that the floating plastic has. They carry bacteria and microorganisms to environments which they shouldn't be, affecting the environment which they are deployed. Then there are the impacts on health. These ones are when you eat a plastic, you can get cancer, respiratory problems, cardiovascular diseases, digestive problems, and when in contact with this water, you can get skin irritations and other skin problems. Then there are the most polluting countries. In the top of this list is China, then Indonesia, then Philippines, Vietnam, and Sri Lanka. These are all located in Asia and pollute the Pacific Ocean and the Indian Ocean. The most polluted zones in the oceans are the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which is huge, and we cannot yet measure it because as it is barely visible from space, or basically it isn't visible from space. It is made from microplastics and it's really dense. So it is. the hardest one to clean. Then it is the Atlantic Garbage Patch. This one isn't that big, but it is a floating island, and it is made from mostly macroplastics, and it's really dense. Then is the Indian Garbage Patch. This one is uh, larger than the Atlantic one, and it's really big, but it is less dense and it's mostly made from microplastics. So then there are the most polluted rivers: the Ganges in India, the Sitraum in Indonesia, the Yellow in China, the Marilao in Philippines, and the Mississippi in the US. So to help the oceans, I decided to create a detailed list of the best methods to help them, and though some may really surprise you. So I classify them into two types: correction and prevention. For correction, there is the FRED, the System 001B, and the Idoneella sacchinensis. So for FRED, it is a solar powered, which is really good. It is really slow. It alerts marine life, but it is a prototype. Also, as the design and the prototype says, it is versatile. But unluckily, it is not non-automatic and needs to be piloted. So how does it work? So first, the freight collects the debris, then returns to a mothership, which then unloads the plastic. Then the plastic is taken to recycle, and then the freight turn makes its way again to the ocean. How I really consider this one to be an option for the future because it promises a lot, but yet there are some things to still be determined. Then there is the System 001B. This one is a kind of passive method that it is really promising. It is solar powered, autonomous, and it can be improved while deployed. But it is expensive. So it isn't that expensive because it does a lot of things, but it is expensive. And you can see it as it doesn't move, it may cause some problems. So then there is the so how does it work? So basically, once deployed, there are the deep sea anchor that prevents it from moving. Then it traps the plastic, accumulates it, and when it's full, a ship that acts as a garbage truck comes and takes it. So this is actually deployed in the Pacific garbage patch, and it's really effective. It is working, and for the full scale operation, it is yet to be worked on so that the results are most accurate. So then there is the bacterium, the Idoneella sacchinensis. So it's a pet, one of the most abundant plastics in the world. It is on a large quantity, really effective, and it is easy to deploy. But it needs carbon to live. It needs further research in order to develop and verify that there are no other damages to the environment. And as it is basically in development, there is still no data. So basically, this one is releases two enzymes to degrade the PET. Then, so when the first enzyme is called PETase that degrades the PETase into MHET. Then there is another enzyme which hydrolyzes it and converts it into ethylene glycol and theraphthalic acid. So then there is the so I really think so that this one is an option that is still in need for deep research because this has its limitations as it degrades the plastic, but when this plastic is degraded, it falls into the bottom of the ocean, which is the beginning of biomagnification. So First, the plastic needs to taken out and then degraded using this type of bacteria. So for the prevention, there is the interceptor, the Cbin B5, the Mr. Trash Wheel, and the Waste Shark. So first is the interceptor. The interceptor can collect a lot of plastic per day. Per day, it is completely autonomous. It has a large capacity and it is solar powered. The bad thing is extremely expensive, but it is really good one. And okay, but as it doesn't move, it is also a problem as it only works on rivers. So basically, this works by creating a barrier to the mouth of the interceptor. Once the debris enters the mouth, it goes through a belt, which is then taken to the dumpsters. So this one is a really good option and cleans the rivers drastically and prevents the plastic getting to the ocean, which is the main function of it. Really well done. It is also once collected, the plastic is recycled and it is used in some of their products. Then it is the Cbin. The Cbin, it is really, really cheap to maintain. Then it has a large capacity for a bean that size, and also can absorb oils and detergents. And it mostly works on docks and marinas. So, but its quantity of trash collected per day isn't that great, and it requires a power outlet as it doesn't have any sustainable energy methods. So basically, it works by using the energy of the ocean to trap the plastic. Once the plastic inside, it pumps it using its pump and cleans the water, but keeps the plastic inside, which is really really good. So, but this one is okay, a really creative method, but as it is low on its quantity, there are much more to be created. So basically, you need to create to deploy other CBINs to work better. Besides, it is limited by it need to be connected to the dock, and it could be better if it uses some solar power. So then is the Mr. Trash Wheel. The Mr. Trash Wheel is completely autonomous. It is hydro-powered and solar-powered, but it is really expensive to maintain, and compared to Interceptor, which develops kind of the same work, it falls short as like three uh, three times less trash collected per day than the Interceptor. So this one works and by working it makes its great limitation. It creates a funnel that blocks completely the river, and because of this, no ships can cross. So as it blocks completely the river, it affects the mobility in there. So it guides the plastic into its mouth, then enters the belt, then it's taken to the dumpster, which is then taken is then once full taken out. So I really consider this one not to be to be an option because it prevents plastic from getting into the ocean, but it's really good one. It's not really that good one, but it is funny looking, and it uses some incredible methods to get water, to get energy. So then is the waste shark. The waste shark is impressive, impressive. So it is a drone, and it is kind of fast. It is can be programmed to follow a certain route in its automatic version. Can be piloted as it is a drone. It can collect a lot of plastic per day. In taking into account its size, it is kind of portable, and it collects data when where it collected the most plastic. So it is really impressive for that. Oh, but as it runs on batteries, and doesn't have a solar panel to power it, it falls short on its long time durability, and eventually you have to pick it out of the water. So basically, this one works by using a slider. The slider put it in the water, then the wave shark works and does its route, then returns the slider, and that's it. The slider picks it up, and that's how it works. So I really consider this one to be an option for person that wants to help the world in by doing themselves and want to help its own community, as probably some are difficult to help. And okay, so and it only works in shallow environments, which the interceptor and the other methods doesn't work. So finally, they are limited by one thing and can improved by many things. So the main limitation I consider they all have is they can only clean the surface and cannot go underwater, which is the microplastics, that the tiniest plastics are in the bottom of the ocean and are the ones that the microorganisms eat and are the ones that are causing the damage to our bodies right now. So I really consider this one to be their limitation overall. So, but they could improve overall. They could have all the ability to move, or at least balance themselves and kind of trap the plastic. They have to use at least solar energy. They have to protect marine life and avoid damaging the environment. I consider this one to be special because I consider this to be it has to be it needs to have the ability to submerge because it needs to trap the plastic that is underwater. It also, to avoiding damaging the environment, I think it is there needs to be a way to divide the debris from microorganisms, and because of that, preventing more damage to the environment. Also, I think it really needs to use recycled materials, and it needs to be durable. It also has to lower its price, and it needs to work and for correction and prevention. So we need to stop plastic pollution. Not the companies, not the big for the powers of the world, not the rich. Everyone, it's the work of everyone to help the oceans. So I really consider this one to be the most important part of it because to to reduce the amount of plastic pollution, we need to reduce, reuse, and recycle. So first, don't buy water bottles and use your own utilities, and don't buy plastic. So for the plastic that is at your homes, you can create a lot of things and be really creative and help other people with it. So, and we need to recycle. You can divide trash, and you can help the people with that recycle. So, and I urge you to, whenever you have the chance to help cleaning up, I suggest you do it because it is our labor also to do it, and not all companies can do it because they run on funding and they need to the help of us to clean the beaches, the rivers, and the shallow parts where we can when we see a plastic bottle, and we can do our part. So, and I think the solution is the use of biodegradable plastics. So there are companies in Colombia that create plastic straws that can be degradable and used all around the world, and well, as they degrade by the water, being in contact with water for a long time, or by sun, I suggest this one to be the best option by as it doesn't pollute And also there are also that creates a, in bags of plastic that isn't made of out of plastic. Some are made from tuberculous and are really impressive, and some can be eaten. So basically, the world is in our hands. We are the ones that are gonna save it. We are the ones that help the world. We are the ones responsible for it. So I really want to thank you all for your attention and hope to see you another day. So these are my sources.